Range game, a complete mid-range game this season, which is where she has grown into this year offensively. And you see the numbers there, 16 points per game. And she's also shooting a high percentage in the latter part
and she
of the
has
season.
been called the glue player by head coach Joanne Burnaby McNamee for this Boston College team, coming off a huge win against Georgia Tech. And you can tell that's Camila Cardoso at 6'7". And the ball goes back into the hands right away of Tiana Mangakahia, the senior from Australia. And right away, no surprise, LaChina, they go right to Cardoso.
Yeah, she makes a living on the glass. And at 6'7", she does a nice job of keeping the ball high.
And when she's keeping the ball high, you have no chance to get it. That's Cameron Swartz with the miss. The ball stays with Boston College, who broke a 6-game losing streak with the win against Georgia Tech. Swartz had a lot to do with that victory. She had 23 points. And Coach Mack said that that was the best game she has played in a BC uniform. Here is a Syracuse starting 5. Kiara Lewis not shooting the ball as well as we're used to seeing. And right away, Stratmana able to attack the paint.
I like the aggressive move by Digna Stroutman. I also like her taking the first shot. She has to keep her confidence in her offense, even though she has struggled some as of recent from the field.
Stratmana making her 114th straight start. And she's off to a terrific beginning to this game. And as you mentioned, boy, since she had a career high or season high against Wake Forest in scoring, she has really struggled. Only 19% from the floor, but Digna's 2 for 2 so far. Much to the delight of Quentin Hillsman. Now in his 15th season at Syracuse, took his team all the way to the championship game. That was 5 years ago, but right now his team trying to figure a few things out. They are unbeaten at home, but they've gone through a little bit of a skid themselves.
Yeah, he's very intrigued by their offense, clearly. You know, they haven't shot the ball well, and when they don't shoot the ball well, they can't set up their defense. They want to press and then get back into their zone. That's when they're at their best, but they have just offensively not been clicking.
Turnover, is it over? Swartz off the mark, rebounding. Going to be absolutely huge. Manakahia in the open court for 3, drains it.
Confidence. That's a confident shot there by Tiana Mangakahia in transition. You mentioned the rebounding, Pam. Boston College has a -6 rebound margin. That may be the most important stat for them tonight against the Cuse. They got to hit the glass.
They also need to hit some shots. That has been a problem for this team. Priscilla Williams with the miss, and Cardoso just showing what 6'7" can do. Gets the rebound.
Their size at the 3 spot for Syracuse, whether that's Digna or Williams, and they've been able to take advantage of it in rebound situations here early and also in getting their shots off.
Rebound taken down for Boston College. Both teams with pink in their uniforms today.
Boston College setting up their offense. Syracuse in a zone, and this is a Boston College team that can get hot from 3, so it'll be interesting to see if they get those shots against the zone, can they hit them and force a defensive change by the Orange.
So far they have hit nothing as they are 0 for 6 from the floor. As we take a look at tonight's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Geico. Emily Angsler coming in very early here, just 3 minutes into the game. Was a starter last year, now the 6th player, and she has been among the Orange players who have struggled offensively.
She has 3 for 16 from the field in her last 2, but we know what Angsler is capable of, and to me, she's their X factor. If they're going to play well down the stretch of the regular season into the ACC and they hope NCAA tournament, Emily has to play well with confidence and conduct herself like a leader on the floor, because she is one.
Coach Hillsman talked about how Emily can get frustrated, particularly if her shots aren't falling. Allie Van Timmeren committed the foul that has sent Lewis to the line. You get a good look at Emily, who's from Queens in New York. Coach Q said that he says, I have enough friends. I don't need my players to like me. He just wants to coach them up, make them better basketball players, potentially professional basketball players. And we asked him if Emily likes him now. He said, you know, it just kind of depends on the moment. They have a very interesting relationship that absolutely works, and that is buried by Michaela Dickens. And my goodness, she's a really good three-point shooter.
She is. She's number 1 in the ACC at three-point field goal percentage. If there's a player that Syracuse has to find in their defense, it's got to be Dickens, because she will get the shot off, and she's got a lot of confidence. And speaking of confidence, I like the energy from Digna Strautmana early in this game.
Last 4 games for her, she was hitting only 15% from distance, and that one found nothing but the bottom of the net. Strautmana has only missed 2 shots so far as BC answers with a 3. Yeah, that's Allie Van Timmeren, LaChina. She should be in high school.
Yeah, 6'2", stepping out, and so that may have had something to do with the early substitution by Quentin Hillsman, seeing Van Timmeren, out on the perimeter when Cardoso at 6'7" was inside. And they don't play a lot of man, but they will play some.
Joanna Burnaby-McNamee in her 3rd season at BC, was at Albany before that, and was an assistant on the University of Maryland's 2006 national championship team. And really talks about her team being kind of in the consummate underdog role, which they have embraced. They just play hard all the time. That's kind of, she used the word gritty a lot when we talked to her yesterday about her team. She wanted to see a lot of grittiness tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely what she wants their identity to be. Unfortunately, this season, they don't have a lot of size in the post. They've been shorthanded on their entire roster, really, for a lot of stretches this season. They've also had to deal with some tough shutdowns. So there's been a lot of challenges for BC this year that they've had to overcome. But one challenge has not been finding Michaela Dickens from the three-point line, because she can get that shot off.
Boy, Dickens missed 8 of her 9 shots when these 2 teams played back in December. That was a Syracuse win, but Michaela has hit 2 of her 3 threes so far to get them close. Lewis with the jump shot, and that is something that Coach Hillsman talked about. Thought Kiera was driving a little bit more, wanted her to have more confidence in that mid-range game.
Yeah, she's important. You know, we talked about Angsler, now Lewis, beautiful transition there. And good pass there to Soul for the finish. But, you know, we talked about Angsler, and Kiera Lewis is as important as is Digna Strautmana. Those returning players have to be playing at a high level for Syracuse to be the best version of this team.
Nice catch underneath by Jaldi Tobdi, who was in off the bench. And then all the way down, Taylor Soul.
And this is something that Boston College did well in the first meeting between these 2 teams. They were able to get down the floor early, get some early looks in transition. It was really effective for them in finding offense.
Speaking of finding offense, Jaldi Tobdi with a quick 4 points. She's only averaging 4 per game. Junior from Paris. Nice game against Pitt a couple of games ago, her season high, and now, boy, BC's starting to heat it up a little bit. There's Swartz with the bucket. Cameron coming off her best game of the year, 23 points in an incredible win against Georgia Tech. There is a foul, and off to a quick start, but BC catching up, down 3 as we take a timeout at the Dome. ACC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. And for those of you watching today and thinking, my gosh, those are cool uniforms that Syracuse is wearing, you are absolutely right, as they were designed actually by a student in conjunction with Nike. 44 pink ribbons. Number 44 was the number for football legends Ernie Davis and Floyd Little. Davis taken tragically young with leukemia. Floyd Little died earlier this year of cancer. And of course, Tiana Mangakahia, number 4 for Syracuse, missed all of last year as she recovered from breast cancer surgery. So it's a subject that is all too close to the Syracuse athletic family.
Yeah, and also on the back of the jersey, there's a faint large ribbon to symbolize the power of one, a tie-in to the Play for K theme. We've been seeing all of the teams wearing their Play for K jerseys, all of their pink, in honor of Kay Yao and her courageous fight against cancer and how she continues to inspire all of us in so many ways. And when you look at how young Tiana was when she was diagnosed, I mean, I can't imagine what she has been through mentally, physically, just to be back out here on the court. This has got to be one of the most inspiring stories we've ever had of a student athlete facing this kind of adversity.
Diagnosed in June of 2019 with stage 2 breast cancer, had 8 doses of chemotherapy, had to go through surgery, reconstructive surgery, went 615 days between games, and she is just one tough kid, number 4. And they will have their Kay Yao game, Play for K game, on Sunday. We anticipate them wearing their all pink uniforms. We will have that game for you on the ACC network at noon Eastern time. And look at Tiana just hustle. Keep it in bounds, but laid out. And just an incredible story for Tiana. And if you ever have a chance to talk to her or visit with her, she's just an impressive young lady.
She just gets it. Never complains. You know, I mean, to go 600 days without playing a game and for her to be fighting back even still, I mean, with all her body has been through, she is just so inspiring, man.
We want to remind you that there's more women's basketball coming away on Sunday. We just mentioned it. NC State, Syracuse, Alyssa Cunane in town to take on Syracuse, and Pitt squares off against Georgia Tech. Both games right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app. What's up with Georgia Tech? They got beaten by 25 tonight, 25 points by North Carolina. And Carolina, boy, Courtney Banhart's team is starting to click at the right time.
And this is the kind of year that you want to be full strength. You want to be playing your best basketball. You can kind of put the early days of the ACC behind you. Beautiful pass there from Tiana Mangakahia. But Pam, you know, it's that time of year. That's why we call it the madness. We're a few days from March, and anything can happen. And teams are desperate to hold on to their NCAA tournament position if they're in. If you're not in, you're trying to play your way in. But more than anything, you want to be playing great basketball. So who knows what's going to happen every night. That's what makes our job fun, you know?
Cardoso goes 1 of 2 from the line after she was fouled by Allie Van Timmeren, who now has 2 personal fouls for BC. And she has been taken out of the game. Nice pass. Cardoso able to get over there just enough to stop Clara Ford from scoring. And now a whistle.
What does Dickens make out with that rebound? And that's going to be an important aspect of this game. We mentioned rebounding, but how do you get it done? Your guards for BC have to be in on the glass and be willing to get into the paint and mix it up.
BC already with 5 offensive rebounds, and that is a moving screen on Ford. Picks up her first foul.
Looks like Ford was trying to set a ball screen for Dickens, and Tiana Mangakahia, oh, great call. She definitely tripped her.
Yeah, she stuck that right leg out, didn't she?
BC in a man-to-man defense. And Cardoso called for 3 seconds, but she was in there with one-on-one coverage for a while, asking for the ball. Teammates got to see her and get it to her early.
A very unique player is Cardoso, the 6'7" freshman from Brazil, played high school basketball in the United States. As another turnover gives it right back to Syracuse. And we talked to Coach Hilsman yesterday, and like, have you ever seen, and I know LaChina covering basketball as you do, it's a comparison in women's basketball, somebody who is 6'7", that athletic and who runs the floor so well.
Yeah, it's a rare combination what we see in Camila Cardoso. Beautiful pass, but her fellow freshman Williams can't get it to go. But when you look at Cardoso, it's how she's able to move up and down the floor, but she's also got pretty good lateral movement. And this is a comparison to a Syracuse legend in Kayla Alexander. Freshman season comparisons, but Kayla Alexander left Syracuse ranked at the top of so many of their career statistical categories. And Camila Cardoso is right on her way. And I'm not sure, I didn't see the restricted area on that play.
I like Cardoso too. She is from Brazil, and I know like Brazilian soccer players are kind of known for being emotive, and she'll show you what she's thinking. She did not agree with that call. Might have been a good sell on the other side by BC, but she's just such a special talent and a true freshman. And you can see Clara Ford is 6'3", and she just towers over her.
Yeah. When you catch the ball in the lower defensive box, there is no restricted area in play, but I did not see where the foul on Cardoso occurred on that possession.
BC could take the last shot of the quarter instead of a relatively quick one thrown up by Ivy. So now Syracuse has a chance to take the last shot. Ivy, a true freshman from Forestville, Maryland. And here's Tiana. Stratmana started quickly and hit her first couple of shots. Syracuse opened the game 10-0. BC is rallied now. Coach Mack's team only down 4 after 1. UCC Unite Week. And Tiana Mondakahia getting some last-minute instructions from Coach Q. Syracuse leading only by 4. Pam Ward and LaChina Robinson joining you from Syracuse University. Syracuse. See, Schwartz's shot missed, but BC's doing a good job of hitting the offensive glass.
Yeah, they have done a really good job of just keeping their composure in general. I mean, they missed their first 7 shots. Could have started to really hang their head and allow Syracuse to run off with the momentum, but that's what Coach Burnaby McNamee talked to us about when she said grit and toughness, not giving up and really just keeping your mental focus, even in stretches on the road when you might get down.
Wide open shot by Ivy at the free throw line is no good, but there's a foul on the floor against Stratmana, the senior from Latvia.
Really nice job by Taylor Soule. Again, she's 5'11", but she can get in amongst the trees. Digna Stratmana 6'2", and it's all about your lower body position and getting the advantage so you can get that foul called, so you can get to the glass. That's what it's all about.
Boy, that's nicely run, that play, though. However, the ball did not go in for Taylor Soule, but the out-of-bounds play run nicely.
Boy, Taylor Soule is so quick on cuts to the bucket, and Cardoso doesn't even have a chance to react, and she's not afraid to take it in on the 6'7" shot blocker either.
It's 2 on Cardoso, and Taylor Soule, first free throw for anybody for BC. Coach Burnaby McNamee just talks about how important she is to her team. She was unanimous pick as captain. She asked her players to write down 2 captains, and she said most of the team only wrote down Taylor Soule's name. That's how well respected she is. And Coach Mack, the mother of 2 sons, said if she had a daughter, she would want to name her Taylor Soule. That's how much she thinks of that young lady.
I mean, she's just so impressive. And you know, Coach Burnaby McNamee told us actually 2 years ago that the progression for Soule would be she's got to get strong around the bucket, and then she's got to figure out her mid-range game, and she's done that. Every year she's added a dimension to her basketball IQ and become a better player. Great ball movement there by the Cuse to get the 3 for Anxler.
Emily Anxler with her first basket. Syracuse back up by 5. They led this game 10-0. to get things underway. Boy, BC had a couple of stretches where they went scoreless for over 3 minutes to start the game, and over 3 minutes to end the quarter, but still they're hanging around. So Seoul stepping back. And another whistle. Angsler, we talked about how you should keep an eye on her tonight.
Yeah, this is a great pass from the interior out to Tiana, who, of course, with the assist, finds Angsler ready to shoot it. But that's good ball movements for Syracuse, and they need more of that. We mentioned their shooting percentages, several players not shooting well. You see the last 3 games for Angsler in particular have been pretty dismal. But it's really about where you're getting your shots and working as a team to get the good looks.
And then Angsler, who's a very good shot blocker, does just that on Dickens.
The pass here with the turnover, and Boston College is off and running, but here comes Angsler. It's the wingspan. That's how she rebounds well, that's how she defends well, and those are the 2 things that Quentin Hillsman wants her to focus on more than anything.
She is 7th in the ACC in block shots. Hinkley comes up with the rebound, and then Angsler finishes on the other side.
And that's a connection that's important. Tiana and Emily work so well together, and Emily comes off of the bench, so sometimes you don't see that connection early in the game, but they really work extremely well off of the pass. And there's Dickens again. Oh, that's Gerard that time on the 3.
Boston College has hit 5 threes so far. They usually only hit about 6.5 on average, which is in the bottom portion of the ACC, and that shot will not count.
And that actually was Dickens, I think, on that 3-pointer that was made.
She's got 3
shot
threes.
there of Gerard, but I mean, this is a Boston College team that has capable 3-point shooters. I mean, that is for sure. They just have not shot it well. And when we talked to Coach Mack, she said it, you know, I mean, they just got to keep playing and playing through things, but they know what they're capable of in terms of their offense. It's just about that light switch coming on.
And Swartz tried to force the action, dribbling into 3 Syracuse players, turned the ball over. And in for Boston College. Here's the other Allie Palmieri, who also, like Van Timmeren, is an early enrollee and should be a senior in high school. But you see the 2 Allies who came out early, and pretty good numbers for kids who should still be matriculating in high school.
Yeah, Palmieri was the 2020 Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Connecticut. So she is coming out early, and Kiera Lewis there getting called with an offensive foul.
We've seen quite a few offensive fouls in this game. It goes to the bench for BC. Number 2 with the ball, Kayla Ivey. Coach Mack says she's the first true point guard she's really had, and she misfired trying to get it over to Dickens. And there's Coach Mack.
And that's what you're concerned about when you play Syracuse. I mean, Boston College has done a decent job of it to this point, but you got to be able to handle that full court pressure. Ivy, a freshman. There's just been some miscommunication against the Syracuse defense, but good steal here. Boston College leaves the ACC and steals. Ivy gets a good one.
And now she throws a 3 that's a little bit too strong. Rebound battle for goes right into Palmieri. And Angsler comes up with the rebound. Boston College 10 offensive rebounds so far. Driving Lewis with the miss off glass. And a good pass by Ivy to Dickens, but she was cut off by Angsler, and it's another BC turnover.
Yeah, great transition defense for Syracuse.
Saturday afternoon college basketball lineup right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. It's the men's basketball team from Syracuse taking on Georgia Tech at noon. At Notre Dame, BC cap the day off with Virginia Tech hosting Wake Forest in Blacksburg. All that coming your way Saturday on the ACC network and the ESPN app. Boston College, 8 turnovers and just 7 made shots. Manga Kaya from way away.
And Gerard was hanging on her. I mean, she was pursuing that three-point shot.
Tiana didn't care. She went after her. And speaking of it, there's Palmieri, the freshman that we just referenced, the kid from Connecticut. Coach said she came with a college-ready body, gets in the gym, and Angsler's turn.
Hey, we said keep an eye on Emily Angsler. And she has had a big impact. 2 for 3 from the field, 5 points. Not sure if her last bucket got added, but she's only been on the floor for 10 minutes.
Yes, that's 8 points now for Angsler. Make it, almost 10, but then it's knocked out of bounds by Soul to slow things down. But Angsler making an impact off the bench tonight. 3 of 4 from the floor. She's hit both of her three-point shots.
And that doesn't even account for the number of rebounds she's been in on, defensive possessions that she's been a part of.
Kahia, a little no-looker. Yeah, I'm not sure that Joel DeTabi was expecting that. She hits her chest and says, yeah, I should have had that. You have to expect the unexpected,
yes.
Right, Tiana?
When it comes to Tiana, you got to be expecting it.
Dickens, goodness.
Boy. I mean, and I like the play call by Coach Mack. I mean, they're just playing Dickens right in the gaps of the zone, even coming right down in transition, anticipating how they're going to play the top of that defense, and she's finding the gaps.
Timeout on the floor. When we come back, we'll talk in this Black History Month about Black history in the making right here in Syracuse. Welcome back to Syracuse. Quentin Hillsman in his 15th year made history 5 years ago.
The magic carpet ride is going to Indy for the first time ever. Syracuse is in the Final Four.
It's an honor, and it's one of those things that you want to do and you dream about it, and you talk about being a head coach that you want to get to the Final Four. I'm just humbled and I'm grateful, and hopefully that can pave the way for some other African American males to have an opportunity to coach at the BCS level. I mean, it'll be a great day when we win one, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I want to be the first to do that.
And not just the first black male coach to get to the championship game, but get to the Final Four period. And it was Carolyn Peck and Dawn Staley winning national championships, but it's been quite a resume for Q, over 300 wins in Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, he's really done a great job. It is tougher than people may think to take a program that's never really been even to the Final Four all the way to the championship game. And Syracuse is a program under Quentin Hillsman that is, every year you expect them to be in the top 5. There's an expectation of excellence. He has just come in and really brought in a lot of top-tier talent, McDonald's All-Americans, and it's competitive every season.
Boy, you're right. This last recruiting class, we've seen Cardoso and Williams. He's got another good one coming in next season as well. Expectations will be growing with that. Angsler at the line delivered and gets another rebound. Angsler has just been a powerhouse off the bench tonight. Kahia with the drive, kicks it out. Williams, boy, she got off to such a great start this year, shooting from the outside, but has tailed off as of late. Angsler with a takeaway.
Yeah, Williams may be hitting that freshman slide. Quentin Hillsman is interested in her stepping up her defensive efforts as much as we love seeing her stroke the 3 ball. He's more wanting her to work on her defense where she can stay on the floor longer stretches. Her minutes have gone down a little bit here in recent games. But overall, I mean, she's had a very solid freshman campaign. And that's one thing with this Syracuse team is they do have a core group of vets, but then the rest of their team is all young newcomers. And so it's been as Quentin Hillsman explained to us, trying to teach their system with all the shutdowns and not really having a lot of time with the team has been tough with the young portion of the roster.
And last year without Mangakahia, a lot of players had to play out of position. Kiara Lewis had to be the point guard, for instance, and there was sort of a trickle-down effect. And then you add all the newcomers this year with the stoppages. They had a 28-day COVID pause earlier in the season. They just had a pause where they had back-to-back games against Louisville and Notre Dame postponed. Shot clock winding down and another turnover. BC has not held on to the ball lately.
Yeah, Boston College is spending way too much time at the top of that zone. They got to get behind that Syracuse zone. They just kind of passed it around the perimeter. Jolly Tavi, what a job she's done in one-on-one opportunities in the paint tonight. Good finishing.
Yeah, she's getting some minutes because Cardoso has a couple of fouls, and she's got 6 points. There's a held ball. Engsler continuing to be a pest. Syracuse with the possession arrow pointed their way. Here comes Dickens back. She's the three-point threat. She has hit 4 of them, 4 of 5 from distance. Boy, BC hanging in here. Not shooting the ball well, but they've had a lot of offensive rebounds, and then Dickens with the 3-ball, keeping it close. Engsler.
Beautiful high-low pass. You mentioned Cardoso's not in the game, so this is a smaller lineup for Syracuse, but not really a small lineup when you think about Boston College, who's not a very big team. I mean, the way Boston College has been able to hang around this game, they have forced Syracuse into some turnovers. They're actually #1 in the ACC in forced turnovers with 17 per game. And so they force some turnovers, but not quite making the most of it. Only 3 points off those turnovers.
Engsler with 11 points as Swartz gets to the line. The junior from Marietta, Georgia, had 23 points, the season high against Georgia Tech in what was one of the more incredible games. But Swartz was really thrilled after the game because she's a Georgia kid. She's from Marietta, so it made it extra sweet to beat Georgia Tech.
She was coming off of a tough game against Miami where she did not perform very well. And I mean, I was just watching Swartz in the fourth quarter of that Georgia Tech win. Not only did Boston College do a great job collectively on their defense, but Swartz was making every play, both ends of the floor. I mean, she just had this, we are not losing this game look in her eyes, and had the game to back it up. I mean, she really made some fantastic plays.
Had been struggling going into that game, but got on the day off into the gym. Tiana, a little bit short. And she said after the game, Schwartz did, that she just had that mentality of, I'm going to kill it today, and she absolutely did. Ford with the miss underneath. Boy, BC shooting under 30% for the game. Lewis inside. Williams appeared to go over the back, but no call, much to Coach Mack's chagrin. Williams, a little bit of room, all she needs.
Yeah, good patience, good ball movement. And Syracuse not giving up on the play, and here they go, getting another defensive play by Engsler.
And then Mangakahia either with a really long 3 or a really long assist as Lewis is able to put in the miss for the bucket. Boy, BC's turnovers really starting to pile up. Syracuse with its biggest lead of the night. Soul to Swartz, and there's a foul called against Syracuse. Third foul on Engsler. Women's lacrosse coming your way on Friday. That is tomorrow, as USC squares off against Boston College at 12:30 Eastern. Then a rivalry game, always big, no matter what Duke and North Carolina play. It's intense. A couple of great matchups on the ACC network coming your way tomorrow.
Lacrosse is in season.
Boy, there's a lot going on, and we've got a great control room in Syracuse, to say the least. And those folks are going to be busy with all of the sports coming into play right now.
Stealing our favorite, one of our favorite ACC control rooms, and at least we get them for our last 2 regular season games. They've done a great job this year.
Yep, get them again on Sunday. Actually, that was only the second on Engstler, pardon me, but it was a 3-point attempt. So the 3 shots taken at the foul line. So not a great foul if you are a Syracuse fan. Kristen Hennessy, our producer tonight, and all those folks in the control room doing a great job. And we got NC State coming in Sunday. That should be a fun game.
Yeah, and fun for Syracuse just because they get to be at home finally. Again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks since their last home game. We had a couple of postponements in between. And a timeout taken by Coach Hilsman. So Emily Engstler has been the 6th player for Syracuse this year, and she came to play tonight with China.
Oh, she got 11 points in just the first half, 4 for 6 from the field. 4 steals, Pam Ward, to go along with her 2 rebounds and 2 assists. She's been getting busy early and often. 15 minutes of play. You saw her in transition. She's often the first player back down the floor on both ends, and that goes back to that weight loss over the summer. You saw her get back and get a block. You saw her go to the other end and get a layup. She has gotten in great shape in the offseason, and you can see how it impacts her. These are the numbers in her ability to play effectively in long stretches on the floor on both ends.
And she also has a block tonight. You see 8 points in her last game, 11 already. Had been shooting again very poorly coming in. Last 4 games, just 26% from the floor, but has done a lot of good things already to give Syracuse, help give Syracuse this 12-point lead. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Tiana gets it in and then gets it right back. And Lewis tries to drive, emphatically swatted away by Swartz. I think there was a BC foul. Yes, there was.
Oh yeah, definitely got the elbow of Lewis on that take, and that's where Lewis can get a little dicey on the drives to the inside because she's doesn't have great size but loves spending time on the interior on some of her shots. And as you mentioned, Quentin Hilsman wants her to trust her outside looks a little bit more and not drive as much into traffic, but she did get to the free throw line on this one.
Dickens fouled her. Kiera hit both of the free throws. BC just 13 points in this quarter. Dickens, a 3-point shooter, found an open area and took advantage. Dickens with 14 points, excuse me.
Yeah, she's having a great first half. But 3-point shooters often find themselves with space once they are off the 3-point line. There's all kind of openings because they're going to get guarded outside the arc.
Lewis takes the 3. Rebound taken by Priscilla Williams, but she traveled. And BC now with 3.3 seconds left to go.
Syracuse has 12 points off of Boston College turnovers, and that has pretty much been the difference in this game in the first half. And you got to credit Syracuse. They have been scrappy on that defensive end and come up with some extra possessions.
Yeah. Emily Engstler coming up with 11 points off the bench. Dickens with 14 to lead BC, but they are down at the break. Time now to get you back to the studio. Our ACC crew, Kelsey Riggs, leading the way. Welcome back to ACC basketball presented by Geico. Second half about to get underway here at Syracuse. The Orange up 12. Pam Ward along with China Robinson. And LaChina Syracuse doing it with some rebounding and running.
Yeah, I mean, they've been strong on the glass, strong with their defense, and that's how they've been able to get it going on the offensive end. Here you've got really look like 5 Syracuse players in the paint. That turns into transition points for Tiana Mungakahia, and here they give it up, but then they give it back. I mean, they've been able to make more of their turnovers from Boston College on the offensive end. Good ball movement, Digna Stroutmana getting it to go. And another one here, just a strong rebound by Finkley. up the floor, good passing. Who is it? Ainxler, first player down the court, getting an easy one. And then on the other end for Boston College, Taylor Dickens has been strong in this game. We knew from the three-point line she could light it up off an offensive rebound. She gets it to go. Right here, you step behind a screen, no one's home. And she gets the long ball, 4 for 5 from outside the arc for Dickens, but she needs some help. Soule only 2 for 6 from the field. Cameron Schwartz 1 for 6, but Dickens is carrying her part of the deal.
You see, she has hit half of their field goals, taking 20 fewer shots than her teammates. As Boston College coming off a win over Georgia Tech. Syracuse has lost 2 in a row with a couple of postponements thrown in between. Right away, go with the hot hand. A little bit too much spin on it for Dickens.
I like that she can fake out the defense, take a bounce, and still get a good look at it.
Offensive rebounding certainly helped BC early on in this game. They were down 10-0 at one point. Strotmana with the foul, and Taylor Soule showing a little bit of the guns after the bucket went in.
Yeah, you got to expect that Taylor Soule is going to get more involved on the offensive end. She is their leading scorer. She is their heart and soul, as you mentioned in the open. And, you know, when she scores as the captain of this team, as the leader, as the voice, as the experience, which is crazy to hear myself say that because it seemed like just yesterday she was a freshman. But when she gets going, it helps the entire team's confidence.
9 points and 8 rebounds now for Taylor. And Emily Ainxler, who was terrific in the first half, comes in for Strotmana, who sits down after committing her second personal foul. Ainxler ends just 28 seconds into the third quarter.
I don't blame Quentin Hillsman. I mean, this is the time of year where you have to change and shift your rotation based on where you're getting contributions and production, and Ainxler helps you in so many ways.
Short by Lewis, chased down nicely though by Priscilla Williams. Tiana, bullet pass into Ainxler, who was able to get the shot off. Rebound taken down by Schwartz, who did not hit a field goal in the first half, coming off a season high in scoring against Georgia Tech. Dickens misses from the outside. Another board for Ainxler. Ngakahi, a little flip behind her back to Emily, who couldn't get it to go. Boy, this is end-to-end action like the game started. Taylor Soule with 5 quick points in the third quarter.
I like the way Boston College has come out of the locker room. You're on the road. Yes, you're down, but you need to come out, show some energy, get Taylor Soule involved, and feed off of that energy. Now only down 7 points the first minute and a half, putting a little bit of a dent into that lead.
Noah Cardoso out there, number 14 in white, conspicuously tall, only played 7 minutes in the first half because she picked up a couple of fouls, but Jaldi Taubdi filled in nicely, as Ainxler is fouled.
But you gotta love that matchup between Emily Ainxler and Taylor Soule. Right here, Soule's trying to move those feet, but Ainxler does a good job of controlling the body. And Soule tried to take a charge there, get an offensive foul, but it was her contact initiated on the shooter, and Ainxler gets to the charity stripe.
Ainxler's free throw breaks a 7-0 Boston College run. Really well short on that one. Schwartz with 3 rebounds already in this quarter for BC. Going right at Cardoso. Cardoso blocks Soule with authority.
5'11", trying to take 6'7" at the rim. I don't think you want any of that, but there was some body there. Cardoso did foul her with the body.
It was not called. Had it been, it would have been the third personal on Camilla. Williams guarded out there by Schwartz. And then she was able to slither around Soule.
And I like the creativity there. Williams is not just a shooter, you know. She didn't have the three-point shot. That's where she's built her reputation as a freshman, but she gets to the rim.
Cardoso, another one and done for Boston College. Ngakahi takes it all the way in.
Beautiful take by Tiana. Really crafty finish on that one.
Dickens gets it kicked by Cardoso.
Not sure where the clock was going off there.
Van Timmeren coming in, subbing in for Clara Ford. Van Timmeren again, the 6'2". I don't even know. We might need a new term. She's not a freshman. She's a freshman technically, but she should be in high school. And Swartz finally gets a shot to go from the field.
Pam, we've got a name. It's early enrollee. That's your status.
That's not catchy enough for me. That's a foul on one of the early enrollees. That's Allie Van Timmeren. Comes in and picks up her third foul. How about a pre-freshman or a, I don't know, I'll come up with something.
Pre-freshman isn't bad. High schooler?
She should be in high school.
I guess so.
Priscilla Williams at the free throw line, but Van Timmeren, Coach Mack again told us she was really looking forward to playing tonight. Ed Svita, our stat guy, suggested senior plus because she is not quite a senior in high school. She's kind of the tweener. We've seen that quite a bit, especially in this COVID-affected year, where a lot of high school seasons weren't played or were abbreviated. So the student athletes came out early, enrolled early, and were able to become eligible. Timeout on the floor. Syracuse up 11 over BC.
Here we go.
A huge shot!
Champ Week is next week. How about that? And Charlie Cream has Syracuse in as an 8 seed. However, just 7-6 against the top 100. Their net, which has replaced the RPI that the NCAA looks at as far as one of the things they look at to get teams in, sitting at 44, but comfortably into the tournament. But a win tonight certainly would help that.
Yeah, a win tonight and a good performance, if not a win on Sunday against NC State, would be huge. You never know what's going to happen in the ACC tournament. You don't want to go to Greensboro with your hopes of getting into the NCAA tournament on the line. You want to be in because we've seen some crazy things happen. Turnover, okay, was tipped, so the ball will stay with Boston College. But we actually just got an update from Charlie Cream, who's working every hour on the hour. He said Notre Dame is in the field. North Carolina moves up to the top of the last 4 in list. Wake Forest and Clemson are in the first 4 out list.
All right, that's the way they started the night. Notre Dame with the win over Florida State. Clemson lost to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech playing some good basketball at the correct time of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to credit Kenny Brooks and what he's done. They are on a win streak. Kitley is one of the toughest interior presence in this league. Nice pass there to Cardoso for the finish. And then they've got Asia Shepherd, and she's a gamer. That's the kind of player you want on your team. You got to have great guard play this time of year. And Asia Shepherd's the kind of guard that can make what I call the March bracket buster type shots. Nice pass from Swartz into Soule.
Taylor Soule now with 13 points for Boston College, but BC with more turnovers than field goals, which is an issue. Lewis gets inside to answer.
Syracuse able to set up their defense. And that high post area was something that concerned Quentin Hillsman because of how effective Taylor Soule can be from there. And she takes on 6'7". That time she wins, Pam. Soule showing the footwork, fakes out the shot blocker, up and under move, takes the contact, in.
Cardoso sits with 3 fouls, and what you got to like about that, back in the second quarter, Cardoso blocked her emphatically. And Taylor that time didn't go straight up, did the little nifty move to get around her and drew the foul, but Taylor Soule's not going to back down to anybody.
No, she's not. I mean, her toughness is the quality that you admire the most. Again, mentioned she's 5'11". There's been points of this season she's had to play the 5 out of necessity. So she's been outsized in inches, but not in heart.
16 now for Seoul. Jaldi Tabdi, who was really good, number 3 in white, subbing for Cardoso in the first half, is back, and Priscilla Williams hits her second 3 of the night.
In the pass from Jaldi Tabdi, I mean, good awareness. And that's what having an experienced player on the floor that knows this system. She knew to look at the three-point line.
And Timorin could not hang on to the rebound for BC.
And Gerard has not hit a shot all game. She is due.
The foul. Jaldi Tabdi hits the deck because she was fouled. Takes a look at the elbow. Floor burns never fun. You got a lot of floor burns at Wake from what I hear from all your hustle getting down on
I
the
wore
floor,
knee
right?
pads. I mean, you know, that's where the knee pads came in handy for me, Pam.
Yeah, Lynette didn't raise a fool, right?
Oh, no. Protect those knees.
Like Tamika Catchings, who was the best.
I wasn't doing anything Catchings like. I can assure you that.
We were playing the same sport. Lewis gets inside again.
That's about it.
15-point lead, biggest of the night after the Lewis bucket. Good ball movement, but good defense. As we hit a break and a timeout, we will take a look at more of Coach Q's culture when we return. Syracuse with a big lead now over Boston College, and Syracuse does something that's very rare at the beginning of their games. They don't introduce the starting lineups.
So when they announce Syracuse players, we sit in our chairs, we do our last-minute prep, and we take the court. And so we had a player on one of our teams, and I was bringing her off the bench, and she's playing 29, 30 minutes, 34 minutes, and she just didn't seem happy. So one day I pulled her in my office, and I said, I don't get it. I said, what's wrong with you? She said, well, I mean, starting. I said, why are you concerned about starting? You're playing the second most minutes on our team. Why are you concerned about starting? You're worried about the handshake thing? So she's like, well, I said, you have got to be kidding me. You're playing 30 minutes a game. So I said, you know what? I can straighten that. So from that point forward, we never did starting lineups again when we come out. That was an amazing day for me. It changed my whole outlook on starting lineups. So as long as I'm coaching, we're never doing starting lineups again.
What an interesting story. And for Q to make that adjustment to kind of make everyone on the team feel important no matter what your role is something that's really cool. I mean, coaches have to find ways to motivate players and to get them to accept their roles. Now, I will say, I like watching introductions as Digna Stroutman hits a 3 from the corner. The creativity on the handshakes, some of the dances you see in introductions, I mean, that kind of brings some excitement, Pam. I'm going to have a conversation with Q in the offseason about this.
But you know what's also interesting about that is that, I know we've done several games at Syracuse. Our crew is a Syracuse crew, and nobody really noticed that. That when you saw the opposing, at the top of it, you saw the North Carolina players come out, and Syracuse just sits there. But that's interesting. It came about because one player was upset because she wasn't able to go out there and do all the cute little things that happens a lot of times when the starters are announced. Tiana Mangakahia with the finish.
This is where I've just been really impressed with Tiana Mangakahia's game, is that she's gotten back to those nifty, crafty finishes around the rim, not afraid to go in against contact. Again, you can imagine with the kind of time she spent off of the court, her game has come back in layers. And that is a part of her game as a finisher around the rim that I think is special about her, and we're starting to see that again.
It's an 11-0 Syracuse run. All of a sudden, they're up 21 points. The defense continues to be smothering. Taylor Soule not going to quit, draws the foul. Syracuse has 5 players in double figures.
Soule looking to get to the rim. Jaldi Tabdi using too much of the body. And you credit Taylor Soule for a lot of that because she understands angles, sees where her defender may be leaning in, and is able to kind of initiate even sometimes that contact.
It looks like that left hand got a piece of Jaldi Tabdi's face. And the officials are going to go over and take a look. Maeva getting extended minutes today again because Cardoso has been in foul trouble. She had 6 points in just 9 minutes in the first half. As you take a look at it again, it's going to be the left hand or arm of Soule that gets her in the face.
Yeah, see, I mean, here's my take on that. It's a basketball play. I mean, you would normally take that hand off of the ball on a move like that. But the reason why it could be upgraded is because it is the offhand. And so, and Jaldi Tabdi was in the vision of Taylor Soule. But I would say that that's just no foul call on Soule on that.
Yes, and it is just a common foul on Taylor Soule, who heads back to the free throw line.
Or on Jaldi Tabdi. Did they call a foul on Soule?
I'm sorry, my apologies. It was Jaldi Tabdi who was called just for the common foul that sends Soule to the line.
Yeah, I didn't think that should be any kind of foul on Soule.
No, it was not. My apologies. It was all on Maeva. Soule delivers. First time I believe that we've seen, no, Jalen Batts did play a few minutes in the first half and considered to be kind of the X factor by Coach Mack, who just looks for her to be more consistent. Number 3 in dark pink. Dickens called for the personal foul. Syracuse has made 8 of its last 9 shots. Boston College started the quarter hot, but now Q's team has come back. And now up by 20. Mangakahia at the line. More women's basketball coming your way Sunday afternoon. You get to see Tiana and Syracuse against Elisa Cunane and NC State at high noon. Then Pittsburgh squares off against Georgia Tech at 2 Eastern, all on the ACC Network and the ESPN app.
Can't believe we're already at the end of the regular season. This season has gone by so fast, and I'm sure maybe not for these programs because they've had shutdowns and different pauses. But my hope is that COVID leave March alone. That is my wish.
That would be a great basketball wish. Sunday, the last day of February and the last day of the regular season for most of the major conferences, including the ACC. Taylor Soule gets her own miss. Dickens, splash.
He is automatic.
Kayla Dickens, a junior from Virginia Beach.
Soule tries to get it to go, but wisely busted out with so much length and bodies in the paint. And guess who's standing, waiting for the ball? That's a great three-point shooter because you know on an offensive rebound where you need to be, behind the arc.
Kayla Dickens with the highest percentage from 3 of any player in the ACC this season. Swartz committed a foul that sends Tiana right back to the free throw line, and you talked about it, the way Tiana is coming on lately. Had the issues with cancer and just coming back from that, the emotional strain, the physical strain. We talked to Coach Hilsman about that throughout the season, and she's so hard on herself. She's a perfectionist, and she was not the same Tiana that she was used to as Swartz scores, but she is getting back and looking better as the season has gone along, and all she's done is lead the nation in assists this year. Not bad.
She does. She looks great. You know, she is starting to really get back to form after missing so much time and going through everything that she went through physically mentally. And here's the player that really got things going. I thought Digna Stroutmana started out with an energy that Cuse needed. And then off of the bench, Emily Angsler showing all of what Emily is capable of today. We saw the outside shot, the interior move, the defense, the tips, the deflections, the anticipations, the contests, the rebounds. Syracuse is shooting 69% in this quarter, and that is not a good sign for Boston College.
No, it isn't. 20-point advantage. Syracuse was up 12 at the half. Coach McNamee's team, Barnaby McNamee's team, has turned the ball over way too much today. They have 16. Syracuse started this game, led 10-0. BC came back to make it a game for a while, but yeah, you can't allow a team or have a team shoot 69% against you in a quarter and expect to get back. And you see the turnovers mounting for BC.
3 seconds. Yep, Angsler needed to get it out and get out of the paint. She only did one of those things in a timely manner.
Yep, and Coach Q lets her know about it.
You can turn and shoot it too. That's your other option on the 3 seconds. Just turn and put it up before you get called.
Yeah, she's had such a really good game today. Angsler, another one. Kayla Dickens. She has tied her season high with 20 points. She also had 20 against NC State when she hit 6 threes. She's hit 6 tonight.
Boston College only has 9 three-pointers, and Dickens with 6 of them on the pullback, off of the bounce. Defense there, no problem. Boy, I love a pure shooter that can find that shot off of the bounce, off of the pass. Beautiful.
Swartz trying to get it down quickly to Soul, but it was knocked out of bounds. BC's a team that's not going to give up. They had a fourth quarter for the ages in their last game against Georgia Tech, in which Georgia Tech scored 2 points on free throws. They had 0 field goals in that game.
I mean, it was quite the display of defense by BC. As Swartz gets a long one to go. You're never out of it when you hit some threes. Still a lot of time left in this ball game. They got to get some stops on this end, though, Pam.
They certainly do. 11 of Swartz's 14 points have come in this second half, just actually in this third quarter. Tobby, nice move to get around the pre-freshman, Van Timmeren.
We saw this from Jaldi Tobby more consistently last year. Dickens off on that 3, but she has some really nifty interior moves, good footwork. She has gotten some foul trouble here and there this season, and then with Cardoso getting a lion's share of the minutes and needing them in order to get her acclimated, Jaldi Tobby just has not been on the court as much. Good steal here by Dickens.
Dickens and their teammates lead the ACC in steals per game. Syracuse right behind them in that category, but Angsler breaks up the fast break attempt.
Dickens, the hot.
Go ahead, sorry.
I like the hot pink unis too. You know, we see a lot of the light pink play for K. I'm here for the hot pink that BC's got going on.
Yeah, the saturated, not the pastel.
Thank
Soul. Goodness. Taylor Soul's a good basketball player.
BC's climbing back into this game.
Kahia trying to calm things down a bit. Cardoso, number 14, posting up Soul, but Angsler missed wide left. Williams there to clean it up.
Got to get the box out. Got to get the box out.
Yeah, that hurts. BC down 14, but can take the final shot of the quarter.
Well, BC's done a nice job of at least sticking with Syracuse on the glass. They're only down 2 rebounds on this game. They've missed a lot of shots, though.
And then an illegal screen. Van Timmeren sends Manga Kahia to the floor, who's in pain.
Oof, oof. Looked like
that hurt both of them.
Need a knee.
And you saw Van Timmeren's knee take a little bit of a bend as well.
Tiana's grabbing the thigh. And you would think on a taller player, maybe that's where the knee landed.
She's not coming out. No, he's going to rest her for the rest of the quarter. No, but she's going to stay in. Of course she is. I wonder if she ever played Aussie rules football. She's tough enough.
She is.
Hanging in. All right. Syracuse. Kiera Lewis got it swatted away. Taylor Sewell knocked it out of harm's way, but Syracuse had 31 points in the third quarter. Tiana's team in control.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship on ESPN.
Welcome back to ACC Basketball, presented by Geico. The fourth quarter about to get underway. Syracuse scored 31 points in that third quarter, and China 5 players in double figures. Engsler doing so off the bench.
Yeah, again, I thought her energy started it. Digna's kept it going. Priscilla Williams is the player that, I'm really looking at in those numbers. Yes, she's hit a couple threes, but she's got 8 rebounds kind of quietly. She's made a living really on offensive rebounds and putbacks. And when you think about the fact that they've gone small a lot, Cardoso isn't sucking up the rebounds. Williams has been able to jump in there and get some of those, and it's got 12 points in this game.
Yeah,
quietly.
Cardoso only with 5 points, 10 below her average. She's been playing in foul trouble much of the night, but her teammates have picked up the slack. Dickens has 6 threes. And you see Ford decided not to challenge Cardoso. Good decision. Engsler with another board.
DC needed a little ball reversal there. They needed the ball to touch the other side of the court.
Boston College has 3 players in double figures. The rest of them have only combined for 5 points. And as Tiana draws contact, Clara Ford helping her up. Taylor Sorrell, who started the fourth quarter on the bench to get an extra few seconds of rest, comes out for Swartz. Engsler took it away and then kept it alive, took it away from Ivy.
Yeah, this is a smaller lineup even for BC on the floor with Ivy, Gerard, and Dickens in the backcourt. You should have seen 2 of them against Emily Engsler trying to get a rebound. They came up with the possession.
Yep, able to come away with it ultimately. BC guard-heavy team. Soul steps back, thought she was going to shoot it, didn't pull the trigger. And now Ivy drives right by Engsler. Nice move by the freshman. Her first points, and Coach Burnaby McNamee very high on Kayla Ivy's future, true freshman from Forestville, Maryland. It's PG County.
Maryland.
Williams drew contact. And Williams has had a really good game, you're right. She's scoring a little bit more and doing other things well.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that she wants to expand a little bit on offense and not just stay behind the three-point line. She's taken the ball to the rack, made herself available for some rebounds, got to the glass. And we mentioned, her coming into this game and last few hasn't played as many minutes, but tonight she's been very productive.
Priscilla Williams had the game of her natural life when they played Miami. And she was the freshman of the week in the conference, third week in January. She had 26 points, hit all 9 shots, including all 6 of her threes. Since then, though, her numbers have been down, shooting only about 35% from 3 after that. And she was around the 50s for a while, but a nice game tonight for Williams and Engsler, another player who had been struggling. So this is a good way to go into Sunday's matchup against NC State, that's nice.
And that's where Taylor Soule has grown. Yes, she was most improved player last season in the ACC, second team all-league last year. But that mid-range game, you could tell when a player has just drilled a shot in the offseason. She looks so smooth doing it. A nice entry pass to 6'7" Cardoso.
And Tiana found her. That's unstoppable when you can get it to Cardoso. Soule for three. That one was a little bit wide left. Mangakahia got hip checked, I should say, by Ivy.
And that's the next step for Taylor Soule's game, is that three-point shot. If she can extend her range, she's going to have a pretty good chance to get drafted earlier in the WNBA draft when her career's done. She's already an asset because of her athleticism, because of how she can defend and cover ground. But at 5'11", you got to continue to work on your guard skill, ball handling, and your three-point shot.
That three finds the bottom of the net from Ivy,
who hasn't been a big offensive contributor this year. She's had some big games early on, but as sometimes happens with freshmen, has kind of tailored off a little bit.
And Ivy only averaging 3.5 points per game. Lewis with another drive and finish. It's a lead back to 15.
Fun game, good pace. You know, it's been some turnovers, but it's been a fun game to watch. And the freshman Ivy checking in, number 2.
Ivy did not hit from the floor in the first half. She's got 8 here in the second, and BC, they just will not go away. Only down a dozen.
Gotta love a team to fight, but on the drive, Boston College just has no shot blocking size. That's why you see as many points in the paint for Syracuse, is there's no big defense for the Eagles, and they're making a run, but Syracuse is answering. BC's trying to get back out here and capitalize on this momentum.
Soule. Man.
Pull up. It's a good looking mid-range pull-up game.
Yeah, she gets that 3 going. She's only 1 of 7 from 3 all season, but Taylor Soule, who is just a Coach Mack loves her, talks about her basketball IQ, that she didn't come in with a lot of fundamentals, so she's learning and just getting better. Mangakahia has been on the floor a lot tonight.
Keeps getting up.
Always.
Nothing can keep Tiana Mangakahia down. Nothing.
Cancer. Puh. BC players, nope. Cardoso has a chance to shoot. Free throws.
Well, that's the opportunity that Van Timmeren wanted against Cardoso. And when you keep the ball high, such an important aspect of post play, especially when you're 6'7", is if you keep the ball high, there's no way anyone can do anything about it once you catch it, but foul you.
And she did that 5 times. She just fouled out.
There
so
you
from
go.
the be careful what you wish for department, Allie Van Timmeren, who again should be a high school senior, fouls out in 12 minutes. Did have 3 points. Looking forward to playing Cardoso, who is just a true freshman herself. I mean, that's what's so scary about Camilla. Wait till she grows up.
Well, she's only played half a season in basketball years, and she's going to get this season back if she wants it. So how many years of development is that? I mean, the WNBA will be salivating by the time she's a junior.
And now Camilla gets down on the floor with bats.
Swartz looking to get to the cup. Just rims out. And there's what happens when you keep the ball high, but Swartz may have gotten away with the foul. I thought Cardoso had that, and Swartz may have come in for the hit.
BC possession on the alternate arrow. That was a tight window that Ivy tried to get the ball into, and it turns into yet another Boston College turnover. 5 minutes to go in the fourth. Syracuse trying to break a 2-game losing skid. This is BC's final regular season game. Only their 13th league game, which is the fewest of any team that is still playing in the league. Kahi has been out there for like 34 minutes of this game, and she's heading back to the free throw line.
Well, Syracuse has 46 points in the paint to BC's 20. There just hasn't been an answer defensively for them at the rim, in the post.
Gakahia's three-point play completed. Tomorrow night at 10 Eastern, our next Bald Men Not on Campus, Billis, Ellis, Greenberg review the ACC slate of weekend games and the latest news from around the great basketball conference that is the ACC on the ACC Network and the ESPN app tomorrow at 10 Eastern time. That's a three buried by Swartz, who has had a really good second half, piggybacking on top of the great performance against Georgia Tech. 17 now for Cameron.
And 7 rebounds. She's had to become a better rebounder this season with the lack of size on the inside for BC, and she's been willing to get in and mix it up. She's become a more physical player in this season.
5'11" junior, started her career at Colorado. Lewis with the miss, but boy, Angsler's been everywhere. Tiana thought about it, but pulls it out now.
Let it fly, Tiana.
Angsler, good catch. That was a really athletic play by Emily Angsler. Catch the ball, the body control. You mentioned that she's so much fitter than she was last season. Another rebound for Priscilla Williams.
Yeah. Gotta love the freshman getting in there, mixing it up. She's also got 2 steals.
Shot clock into single digits for Lewis, who got fouled from behind by Swartz. With just 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Syracuse in the bonus. Boston College, Taylor Soule has played 35 minutes. Swartz has played 31. And Swartz has just fouled out, and gets some words of wisdom from Coach Mack.
And that's not the way you want to go out fouling the jump shooter. That was a little bit unnecessary. I mean, this game has gotten a little bit out of reach here late, but I thought BC was mounting. I thought they had one more comeback in them, Pam, but without Swartz, it's going to be tough.
Swartz fouling out with 17 points, has 4 threes. Now Angsler has committed her 3rd personal foul for Syracuse. Soule working hard against Williams, number 13 in pink. Dickens, Ivy's been really good from 3 in this quarter. That one misses, but it's kept alive. However, Williams comes away with her 10th rebound. Priscilla Williams with her first career double-double, a career-high 10 rebounds for the freshman from Branson, Missouri. That's a really good and probably a necessarily good game for Williams to kind of get things back in sync.
Yeah, turn the page a little bit as we head into March. You know, you expected freshmen, I'm sure in this exhausting season with COVID, probably hit a wall here and there. There's still a learning curve. Teams have more film on you so they can scout you. They know what you like to do. You got to get more creative. But her size, 6'2" on the perimeter, just makes her such a dangerous shooter, but also shows what she can do on the glass. I mean, she's usually rebounding against a much shorter defender, and there she is there. Dickens could not do anything about the size of Williams going to crash. This is exactly what we were just talking about. Shot goes up, and Priscilla Williams is dueling with Dickens. A smaller player on the perimeter at 5'8" and 6'2" wins out in terms of position.
Yeah, Dickens becomes the third player to foul out for Boston College. Williams at the free throw line.
One shot.
So there was a good run. Williams and then Cardoso, 3 in a row for Freshman of the Week. Georgia Amor, the Australian from Virginia Tech, winning it this last week. Virginia Tech with another win tonight. They are on a nice winning streak as the ACC regular season winds down.
I really like Georgia Amor.
Oh, Anxler. Not tonight. Another block for Emily.
We called it when she checked in. We said Emily Anxler is going to be a difference maker tonight, and against Bats, gets there without fouling to block that shot.
6th block of the night for Syracuse. They lead the ACC in that category, averaging 7 on the season. Anxler and Cardoso doing most of the damage with the blocks over the season. 2 minutes left to go in the game, and another foul drawn by Tiana Mangakahia. If basketball was played on grass, her uniform would be green. She'd have grass stains, mud stains. She has been all over it.
Yeah, she got taken out there by Bats on the push.
Mangakahia, as tough as they come. She's been out there now playing in the 38th minute.
And it's actually Kiera Lewis that leads this team in minutes in ACC play.
Mangakahia right behind her in that category. Anxler, a little bit off. Cardoso chases it down, but the rebound ultimately grabbed by Ivy. They have numbers, but Williams got in the way. So Williams, another good defensive play. That was a kickback. So shot one over Cardoso, wouldn't go in. As we approach a minute to go in this game, Boston College playing its final regular season game in the ACC. They will wait to see who they take on when the tournament begins next week. Syracuse has led from start to almost finish. They're almost done. They were up 10-0, never looked back. 31 points in the third quarter. Boston College, that's a double dribble by Palmieri, the other 3 freshmen. And when we're done, the All-ACC accolades. We've got all the women in the studio tonight, and they're going to talk about who they think should win awards. The China's going to do that for us Sunday when we have Syracuse, NC State at noon on the ACC network.
That's award time of year, Pam. You're a voter.
Yeah, I gotta.
You know, you and I
on those
actually.
ballots.
That's usually our favorite game, when you and I get to argue about who should win awards. We had a good showing in WNBA a couple years ago for the Rookie of the Year award between Enrique Gumawale and who was your choice? Nafisa Collier?
Yeah, the one who won it, Nafisa Collier. Clara Ford with the finish.
I hope
The only
Coach
one who
McGraw-
picked her.
I hope Coach Muffin McGraw is listening to the fact that you did not vote for Enrique.
Well,
The
I got the winner.
WNBA's leading scorer this year.
I got the winner. Syracuse had 7 players with at least 8 points. Tiana Mangakahia ties his season high with 19. Anxler had 18, the first career double-double for Priscilla Williams, including a career-high 10 rebounds. A good, solid, all-around win for Syracuse. And Emily Engstler, you are prescient. She was your player to watch coming in, and look what she did.
She delivered in 34 minutes of play, 18 points, 50% from the field, hit a couple three-pointers, had 8 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Exceptional play from Emily Engstler. If she plays like this down the stretch into the ACC tournament, watch out for the Orange.
And watch out, we will see them noon Eastern time on Sunday on the ACC network against NC State. For LaShawna Robinson, our entire terrific crew in Syracuse, I'm Pam Ward, Tiana Mangakahia, and the rest of her teammates putting on quite a show tonight. BC ends the regular season with a loss at Syracuse. Let's go to the ladies. Take it away, Kelsey.